Welcome to the Sharkpreneur Podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Green. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Green is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Green. Today, I've got the good fortune to welcome back a repeat guest, Mark Kohler. The resume could take the entire half hour.
Oh, come on. No, not really.
I'll give you the highlights. Top half of 1% globally ranked podcast, 2 million downloads, 24 million views on YouTube, 102,000 books sold, leading tax and legal group KKOS lawyers with over 50,000 clients helped, and top self-directed IRA company with over 1.5 billion in assets. Mark, thanks for coming back.
Wow, thank you. I want to meet this guy. That's pretty. you like hammed that one up. I love it.
Awesome. So there's been a whole lot that's going on in the world since the last time you were here.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's do a deeper dive. Let's talk about, first of all, what inspired you to start the directed IRA trust company?
Oh, my word. Thank you. Great question. Yeah, I'm talking politics right now, and what's going on in the Senate House is just a mess right now. We'll see what comes out soon. It's like watching sausage made. It's not pretty, but man, I can't wait for that brat with some sauerkraut when it's done. It's going to be great, but we don't know what it's going to exactly look like yet.
And we will certainly talk about the big, beautiful bill or whatever the other names are it goes by. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the IRA trust company first.
You bet. So yeah, just get that elephant out of the room just saying that. But the trust company has been such a neat experience. It was funny, 20 years ago, gosh, I think it was at least 20 years ago, a guy walked into my office. I'll leave him unnamed. He was running a self-directed platform, and he said, you can buy real estate in your IRA. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, I never heard that. And you don't learn this in law school. You don't learn it in a CPA exam or anything. You got to learn real strategies out on the streets. And I was like, okay, so you can really buy real estate, huh? And yada, yada. And so he's like, but I need an LLC. And so I dove in and figured it out. And not many lawyers or accountants would take the time back then to do that. When it sounds a little odd, they're like, I'm staying in my lane. And now they wonder why they're stuck in compliance. But anyway, so I figured it out and we started doing LLCs and la, la, la. Then about 10 years ago, a guy walked in and said, hey, I want to buy a Bitcoin in my IRA. And we're like, what? You can't do that. Okay, let's see if we can figure it out. Matt Sorensen says, I'm going to put one in my IRA. He bought one Bitcoin for $3,500. And
that's a heck of an ROI if he still got it.
Yeah, well, he rode a nice little wave there for a bit and cashed out and bought 2 rental properties with cash with it. And a little low-income housing deals with he had some other crypto in there. But anyway, we figured it out. So then we fast forward, we realized we were dependent on these other trust companies or self-directed platforms. And it was we were like, we got to just do this ourselves. And we saw all the problems of all the other trust companies out there managing IRAs and Roths and health savings accounts and 401ks. No one would do it all. They always made it a pain in the butt to self-direct. Even though they say they self-direct, we were the first one formed by lawyers with the best-selling books and podcast in the space because everybody was turned to us for information. We're like, why are we giving this all away? Let's do it ourselves. So we started it 7 years ago, and now we are actually over 2 billion in assets this year. It just keeps growing, and we're the number one in the space for customer service and five-star ratings. And we pick up the phone. Not all of our people are right here in Arizona speaking English, and we help you move your accounts around and buy what you want. And so we kind of cracked the code and we loved it. It's been a wonderful ride.
That is awesome. Congratulations. Obviously, 7 years to 2 billion is incredible growth.
Uh,
Let's also talk a little bit about the Main Street Certified Tax Advisor program where you work with CPAs and enrolled agents.
yeah, so it was funny. I keep telling you the kind of the history because there's all these triggers in life, that kind of set your sail or course into a different direction. But it was the last workshop I was able to pull off before COVID hit. And it was a live event down in Anaheim, California. And I had been doing the business owner workshop for 10 years. I just hit the road every fall, do Chicago and California and Seattle and Florida, everywhere, and do 6 little workshops for business owners. Well, I was on stage and I said, hey, by chance, how many out there are accountants by trade or, enrolled agents or CPAs? Half of the room raised their hand. And I was like, what? I didn't know this, that I had kind of become the little uh, flag bearer or torch bearer of the community and out there teaching cutting edge strategies and always above board, but thinking outside the box, not your regular continuing education. And in the middle of COVID too, I said, you know what? I'm going to start training or sharing well everything I've learned. I'll put it into a training program that I had internally for all of my team members, lawyers and excuse me, for my lawyers and accountants. And and that was 2.5 years ago, and it's just blown up. We now have over 1,100 accountants around the country with all different levels of certification or credentials that are part of this community. And it was last point, if I may, Seth, it was crazy. The first 2 weeks, I started doing weekly trainings with it. I put 12 modules together, 70 topics, certificate, made it affordable, created a community, a platform, weekly calls where we could all collaborate. Nothing else out there in the community like this. And so many accountants are burned out with compliance. They're just walking away from practices. Enrollments down in universities, uh, in accounting programs, because kids are like, this is a dead end, and I don't want to kill myself with tax season. And the industry is on fire. And I'm like, no, we got to start creating more advisors like I was doing. I had finally cracked the code on how to be a tax advisor. So that's what I was teaching. And in the first 2 weeks, I get in there and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I put together everything. I'm the GOAT, whatever. I wrote 3 books on this, yada yada. Then 2 weeks, I was like, holy crap, I know nothing. I mean, the whole community showed up and was like, well, Mark, what about this? And this rev rule says this and this strategy here. And I took your strategy and did this and it's even better. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I just was so humbling. And I've met so many CPAs that are like, yeah, I don't need the training. I already know it all. Is pretty much their attitude. And it blows my mind. There's so much to learn still.
That is incredible. I'm wondering, you've got so many CPAs in the program. Any thought about, branching out, doing stuff with lawyers, doing stuff with financial advisors, insurance folks?
Well, I welcome everyone. We have lawyers that are in there. So the name of the company is Main Street Professionals. Big picture.
That's broad enough.
Yeah, we might start training lawyers. We might start training dentists with business practices. We might train life insurance agents or whatever. But right now, it's a tax advisory program, but it has modules on real estate, legal, estate planning. It's not just taxes. It makes you a well-rounded advisor. So we've got hundreds of financial advisors in that mix, and also life insurance agents that are like trying to level up to get in front of clients with an advisory plan and knowing taxes because they're not getting it from their own accountants.
Right.
So they're like, bring it, and then they can sell their additional services. So it's a very diversified group. We already have our law firm with 13 lawyers, our boutique firm, and we're busy. And I don't know if I want to train a bunch of lawyers to compete with my law firm, but that I'm holding off on that for a while.
Fair enough. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So, you have your finger in so many different pies. How do you juggle it all?
Well, thanks for asking that. I'm really in the tax and legal lane in that industry. Do you want to talk about, don't talk to me about sports. You'll lose money on, DraftKings, whatever. You do not, I'm never going to be a pilot. They call those little planes doctor and lawyer killers for a reason, because I'm trying not to multitask or be a jack of all trades. I'm in my lane. So I love the tax and legal, but yeah, we've got multiple companies, over 150 employees now, 4 offices. I'm just loving what I'm doing in my team, but it's really people. I was teaching this last week at our big conference in Anaheim, ironically again, first time I've been back since that other event, before COVID. But I was teaching from stage that as you're scaling, whether you're scaling an accounting firm, a law firm, scaling a restaurant, scaling a landscaping business, anything you want to scale, there's a break point where it's now about people. You are not doing your business anymore. You are duplicating yourself, and you are learning how to hire, train, and lead. And that's what allows you to scale. People allow you to scale, not software, not more money. If you don't have the right people around you to help you scale and manage your life and everything you're trying to do, it's not going to happen. And I've made mistakes, I'm sure many times, hiring the right or wrong people or treating them poorly. And now I'm finally getting a little better in my old age, and we've got great people, and that's how I'm able to do it. And I got a great wife. She's amazing. And that's it.
Well, congratulations on all of that. You alluded to briefly lessons you've learned along the way. Can you share some of those with us?
Ooh, okay.
Some of the biggest lessons, biggest takeaways, biggest, oh my God, I wish I had
All right.
known
Okay.
this.
All right. I'll give you a true. So what I've been teaching is that businesses go through 4 phases. They go through startup and structure, optimization and systemization. Then they go through a scaling and saving period, and then exit and legacy. So these 4 phases. Now, you may be young and exiting the business. You may be old with a startup. The business is not your lifetime line, it's the phases of a business. Now, I've had learning experiences every one of those phases. There's no time period and there's no bright lines of yet any phase, but I'll share what about startup. I was in a startup phase with my law firm um, for 5 years. Now I'm teaching advisors now how to get through startup in a year, because I don't do what I did. This is how you scale. This is how you hire your first assistant. Here's how you bill and engagement letters and all that to be a good tax advisor. And but I was stuck for 5 years. And of course, when your head's down and you're in the trees, you don't know why. But what I was doing, and a lot of business owners do this, they suffocate their business. They're expecting their business to support them when their business is still a toddler. It's not ready to support you. And it scares me every time I hear someone go, I quit my job to start my business. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't do that. Because you need to pay the bills next month and the month after that. And you're going to make decisions about your business that pay the bills, not what build the business. And so we can really strangle our business when it's too young. And then we blame entrepreneurship. Oh, my business failed. My business sucked. No, you were just trying to live on it too early. It wasn't ready to support you. You killed it, not the business. You got to give it some chance to percolate and grow. And so what needs to happen is some people need to keep their day job a little longer, have reserves, have another source of income, just so that business can properly grow up. And so at one point in my 5th year, I kind of started to figure that out. And I said, I took on a couple clients with retainers for work that I wouldn't normally have wanted to do, but I did because I needed that stable income so I could take the rest of the business and let it and build it. So I could work on the business a little bit more rather than just head down month to month. So I think anybody in that situation, assess, are you putting too much strain on your business? Does it need a little more time, space, and capital that you're extracting out of it that you shouldn't be?
Those are great lessons. Thank you for sharing those with us. You've achieved so much success at such a high level. What's your biggest challenge now?
Well, it's funny. I'm going to go with I'll stay with my phases. When you're going through the optimizing systems phase, you're duplicating yourself. You're not replacing yourself. You're still there. Some people think, well, I need to replace myself. No, 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 no. You're going to be there, but you're going to duplicate the things where you create bottlenecks. The business can't grow because they need more of you. So let's start hiring people that can do these certain functions and then duplicate them. So now we start to scale. We're duplicating people and we're duplicating ourselves. Well, when we get to the exit phase, now you're replacing yourself. Now I need to be able to show that I've got EBITDA, I've got KPIs, I've got income that's not dependent on me at all. A buyer, private equity, they're going to come in and go, tell me how this business runs and what the profit is if you fell off a cliff tomorrow. Now there's a transition phase and some but for the most part, people want to buy a business. If you want to exit in that manner, even to your own family, you may be selling, I'm selling the business to the kids. Well, you got to get out of your way. And so what happens in the exit phase is you start looking at the business differently so that it's with an eye of efficiency and systemization and all the things and the right people that are in a managerial headset and mindset to replace yourself. And so we've got a couple exits where we want to pursue, and that you always want to be a couple years out. And we've got multiple businesses, but my partner and I, and so we're looking at how do we replace ourselves with the right person, train them, and watch carefully through that process. And so that it's again, it comes back to people and finding that right person in that process.
Awesome. We're not here to talk about politics, but I'd love your accounting and legal opinion on what you alluded to at the very beginning in terms of what's going on in Washington.
You bet. Well, we shouldn't. No offense, I'm going to say this. Politics and tax law, they're sisters, but it doesn't have to get political to talk about what might happen with the tax legislation. So we're really excited about it. The House version had a lot of good stuff in there for small business owners and real estate, absolutely. And it's going to help everybody at every income level and to get these tax rates, keep them down. The Senate, they can never let the House outdo them. So what the hell they're going to do, we'll see. And then it'll go into joint committee and we'll get something hopefully the president can sign this summer. So it's a little ugly. Most in my prior career, previous life, I'd be like, I'm not looking until it's done. But I kind of get a little more involved now. I like seeing what might happen. I get a call from a senator once in a while that I've built relationships with that are like, hey, Mark, what do you think about this piece? And that's always an honor and excited to give my thoughts because I want to represent you, the small business owner. We don't get represented well enough sometimes. And luckily, President Trump is a Main Street guy versus Wall Street. And we've been toting the Main Street term for a long time. But so I think it's going to be good. And we could go into some of the provisions I think that could be fun, but I'm excited about it.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
The variety. I did my 10,000 consults where I just come in the day and I do my help get the client stuff done and out the door. And you learn so much in that process. But then when I started to do more marketing, we scale, I'm doing management. I could be in a meeting leading people or behind a camera, be on a podcast with great people like you, go speak at an event, be on a news channel, meet with a client. And so I get to do all of that. And that variety makes work a lot more fun. Some people, it drives them crazy. They're like, how do you multitask? I don't know. I just compartmentalize, I guess, a little bit.
Awesome. Well, we know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you coming back for part 2. This has been Seth Green with Mark Kohler. Check him out at Mark J. Kohler, KOHLER.com. Mark, thanks again.
Thanks for having me. When that bill's done, let's break it down.
I would love to have you back on to discuss it.
Thank you so much, Seth.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.